Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Yes, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. And I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you and to share some ideas with you to help you do more, be more, and achieve more. I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share ideas to help you have greater personal and professional success. Well, I start with that minute, as you all know, and those who are longtime listeners, and for those who are new, I start with that minute. It's called God's Minute. It was written by Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. And Dr. Mays not only inspired young ML, but he also mentored him and helped him to become the thinker and person that he was. Dr. Mays became a mentor of mine, even though I never met him, but I read his books. I learned about him. And when I started speaking many years ago, I adapted and adopted that 1 minute, and it became my signature. And so we take a moment to give that God's minute, and then I give God some glory. I take a moment to thank God for life and strength and health. I take a moment to thank God for all that he has done for me. I'm not talking about, not just the fact that this show is the #1 self-help show in the country on this network. Not just the fact that the podcast is doing great and reaching people globally. Not just the fact of the other radio shows I do daily across America, or my speaking, or the books, or any. I'm thanking God for life. Hey! And strength and family and friends. And so I'm grateful. And I find it to be Thanksgiving every day. I give thanks every day. So we start every day with thanks, and we start this show with thanks. I'm grateful. Now, I want to thank all of you for you're telling your friends and family members and your coworkers, hey, you got to listen to Dr. Willie Jolley's show. You got to make sure to put it in your schedule. And for those who might not have access to this network, the people who say, hey, you got to listen to his podcast. It's on iHeart and on C-Suite and TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast. You got to make it part of your weekly routine to listen to every time he posts a new podcast. I want to thank all of you who listen in and watch in and tune in every Monday night on Happily Married Monday with the Jollies on Facebook Live. My wife and I, we talk to people at 9 o'clock every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, where we talk to people about marriage. We've been married for going on 36 years, haven't had an argument in 33 years, and we wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last that has become very popular. So we started doing the TV show on Monday nights, and many people have now joined in from all over the world. We're amazed every week how many more people come and where they are stationed. I mean, or where they come from: Paris, Greece, Bahamas. And then Monday through Friday, you can hear me on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell at 8:20 Eastern Time, 7:20 Central Time on the Get Up Morning Network and on Radio 1 Network. And then for those who don't have that or can't access that, we send out a free 1-minute video every day. So if you go to winwithwillie.com, you'll get access to that video being sent to you free. And lastly, on Saturday morning, a inspirational message on my Jolly Good News Facebook page. JollyGoodNews.org is my faith-based site, but we have a Jolly Good News Facebook page where I do the Jolly Good News Report, 10 a.m. every Saturday morning, to give you some good news in this time of bad news, sad news, depressing news. You need some good news. Proverb says that good news is good for your spirit. I love what Maya Angelou, she said. She said, good news puts starch in your spine. Well, I am grateful. I got some good news for you today. I got a special guest, a dear friend of mine. And this is a person who is just one of the sweetest people I have ever met. Her name, you might know her name from her books, or you might know her name from some of the activities she does. She's a Hall of Fame speaker and has been a teacher all of her life. She's the oldest of 4 children. She grew up in a small town in Iowa where she taught swimming along the way through her college years, an accomplished pianist. Then she went on to become a teacher, and she loved teaching. She married and settled in Illinois, and she taught for many years. And then her life changed. Husband died, and she had loss of other family members. And she started speaking, telling her story, but also telling some of the lessons she's learned. She has gone on to become world-renowned as one of the great speakers on the planet. She is an incredible lady. She's an incredible person. And she is a woman who stayed at home for many years with her children, and then later in life started her company. That's why I wanted her to be here, for many of the women who are listening, that they will know that you can do the things that you are called to do at any point in your life. And so I want to get her story. We'll talk more about it as time goes on. She's an author. She's a best-selling author and one of the greatest women and people I know on the planet, Barbara Glanz. Barbara, are you there?
I am here, Willie. Thank you so much, and I am so grateful for you and the difference that you and Dee have made in this world. So thank you for that in my personal self as well as the rest of the world.
Well, bless your heart. Thank you. Well, I gave the thumbnail sketch. Tell us a little more about Barbara Glanz, where you came from, and a few of the things I didn't fill in.
Well, I have a wonderful story, especially for younger women, but for any women, because I grew up in a town of 4,500 in Iowa, and never in my wildest dreams would have thought I could have had all the amazing blessings and experiences that I've had. And so as I grew up, I was very focused on doing the best that I could, and my parents taught me that the world was large, and I went to the University of Kansas. At that point, I majored in music therapy, ended up switching to English, so I got that major in English, and then when I was home with my children, I finished my master's degree in adult learning, 1 class a quarter for 5 years. So I taught English and drama, and one of the fun things that my audiences loved is I directed David Hasselhoff in his first high school play.
Are you serious? Wow.
And, he was kind of a bad actor then, and he still is, but he's a really nice guy. Anyway, and good looking, that was important in high school. Anyway, when our son, I chose when we started to have children, my husband and I chose that I would stay home. And I made my kids my career. I had a business plan. I had goals. By age 7, they'd all seen a ballet and an opera and a stage play. I invited people from other countries once a month for dinner so that the children would experience other cultures. They had to take piano lessons, non-negotiable, from their 7th birthday to their 12th birthday. And one of the best things that I did, Willie, was one of the other non-negotiables was when they got a gift, they could open it, but it did not become theirs until they had written a thank you note. You know, they could draw a picture.
Say that again. Say that again. That's a big deal, and I want people to say that again.
When they received a gift, they could open it, but it did not become theirs until they'd written a thank you note. And they could draw a picture that when they were little, have me help them. But to this day, my children all write thank you notes. And that to me was such an important lesson in respect and gratefulness. And so those two things, the piano lessons and the thank you notes, were the non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
But one of the greatest gifts I ever received from my children was when my son went off to college and came home the first year. He'd written to me and he said, "Mom, you gave me the gifts of music, the gift of understanding the world, and the gift of loving other people." And I thought, wow, Lord, that's enough. I did enough.
Wow.
So anyway, I stayed home during those years. I did a lot of little part-time things. I did some workshops on grammar, and I taught preschool one year. I taught English as a second language a couple of nights a week, and just enough to sort of keep my finger in. But the children were my career, and I did a lot of things in the community. I designed an intergenerational sharing program for the children to work with another adult several times a year, just some things like that. And then, as I said, I finished my master's, one class a quarter for 5 years, so the children saw me writing papers and studying, and they did the greatest thing. I went to the University of Illinois, and I only had to be on campus probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, so I wasn't away from the kids for long periods. But when we graduated, they invited, the average age of the graduates was 37. And so when you went up to get your diploma with your big fancy hood and all of that, they invited all the children to come with you.
Wow.
And so that left a huge impression with my kids. And anyway, then when our son was going off to Dartmouth, I needed to help earn a little more money. And so I was offered a job because of my master's in adult learning with a Times Mirror company and as director of training. And it was a wonderful experience. We had a family conference, and the kids had 3 votes. Charlie and I had 2. And we talked about all the positives and the negatives, and everybody voted that they wanted me to do that. And I had to be it was headquartered in Tampa. I had to be there 1 week a month. But the rest of the time, I could still be room mother and picture lady and all the things that the children, that were important in the children's lives. So I did that for 5 years, and I grew their staff from 11 trainers to about 50, helped design their facilitator certification process, trained master trainers all over the country. But I decided that because I was 45 when I went back to work full time, and I realized, I was working, I didn't have that much time left, and I was working with smaller groups. But as I started speaking at our conferences, and then clients wanted me to speak at their conferences, and I realized I could impact so many more people in the time I had left. And so when I turned 50, I started my own company. And when I started it, Willie, I just said, God, you gave me this gift, so you put me where you want me to be. And it's just been beyond amazement for me, just an absolute miracle.
It's been incredible, and so many companies love your messaging. We're going to talk about some of your messaging. We're going to talk about your story of helping young people and helping others to grow their success and helping women to see the potential and possibilities for their lives. And so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Dr. Willie Jolley Show on this network for your improvement and your empowerment. And we know for sure your best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Afraid of flying, I always kept my dreams on the ground. Life had...
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios that help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the T to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And I want to welcome all of you who might be joining us. Our special guest is a special woman. She is a dear friend of mine and a peer or a partner in the Speaker Hall of Fame. We're both in the Speaker Hall of Fame. And she is an incredible teacher, encourager. In fact, her if you ask her focus is about spreading contagious enthusiasm. She encourages people and just inspires them. And that's what she's known for. She is a woman who was a homemaker and a mom. And at the age of 45, started working again, doing small work. And then at 50, she started her business. Barbara Glanz, I'm so glad to have you. Thank you for being on with me.
You are so welcome, Willie. And I have to say, my brand is spreading contagious enthusiasm. And what I love about that is the root words of enthusiasm are entheos, are from God.
That's right.
And so you talk about using your gifts.
Yes.
And how we all have such an awesome responsibility to do that. And so that has been the greatest blessing of my career, that I know these are gifts that I didn't deserve, but I have been given and have been blessed with. And my mission is to use those to bring hope to other people, just as you do.
Well, you do that so wonderfully. So you start your company at the age of 50. You start speaking, I guess, the training, speaking and training, and it takes off. I mean, it takes
It was
off.
amazing. You know, again, because I think I gave it to the Lord, and I've just said, Lord, you put me where you want me to be, and I'm the first speaker on record to speak on all 7 continents and all 50 states. And I do very little marketing. I have a great website. I've written 13 books, but almost all my business has been word of mouth and referral. And I know.
Speaking of that, give people your website right now.
www.barbaraglanz, BARBARAGLANZ.com.
BarbaraGlantz.com. Okay, so you start speaking at 50, things start going well, then you had some setbacks.
Well, personally, yes.
Yes,
there
that's
have
what I'm
been,
talking about, is personal setbacks.
Yes, personal setbacks. Earlier, before I had started my company, we had a child who died, and he was
That's
buried
tough.
on Christmas Eve, and that was the hardest thing I've ever had to face in my life.
Sure.
But one of the lessons I learned, Willie, that goes right back to your minute,
Yes.
is I was given a book called I Ain't Much Baby, But I'm All I've Got.
Who said it again? I ain't much, baby.
I
but it's-
ain't much baby, but I'm all I've got. And it was by Jess Lair, Lair. I don't even know if it's still in print. But he'd had some real crises in his life. He was a Christian author. One of the things he talked about was living 5 minutes at a time. And that was the greatest blessing that came out of that whole experience in terms of learning to cope. Because there were many mornings I would not even want to get out of bed. And never could I think toward noon or even evening, but I could always do 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 5 minutes.
Wow.
And what that taught me was to be fully in the present. And so I am always fully in the present. When I'm talking with you, I'm not thinking about anything else but you and your audience members. And that was a wonderful gift. And another gift was learning that every day is a gift.
Yep.
And every single day we have choices to make a difference. And then after I had started my company, my husband at quite a young age passed away from cancer. And there have been a number of losses in my life. We all have losses.
Yes.
You know, that's part of living. But I think having faith and people that have been supportive and then knowing that this time on earth is just a blip.
Yes.
We've got a wonderful eternity looking ahead. And by the way, my idea of heaven has become we'll see all the people we've touched that we know nothing about.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting. That's a powerful, powerful expectation. So you go on to start this speaking business at 50. You have losses. You've had depression, discouragement, yet you just kept going. What kept you going? I know your faith. Folks, if you haven't figured out yet, she's a woman of faith. But what kept you going? Your faith, and what else?
Well, really, Willie, it was my friends and family, and also the belief, passionate belief that God wants us to use the gifts He's given us. And I realized that I wasn't doing this for me. I'm very clear. I'm just the messenger. Ken Blanchard, who wrote The 1 Minute Manager, has become a good friend, and we've co-authored a book together. And his definition of ego is edging God out.
Edging God out. We want to not have an ego where we edge God out. Absolutely.
That's for sure. And you know, when you come from that place as a foundation, then you realize it's not about you. You know, it's about Him, and it's about. I think our whole mission on this earth is just to love other people. Just love them.
Well, you do that so wonderfully. So, you wrote a book. You've done one with Ken Blanchard. We've had Ken on the show before, and he's just a fabulous man. But you wrote a book called Johnny the Bagger.
Well, actually, the title of it is The Simple Truths of Service.
Okay.
Inspired by Johnny the Bagger.
Okay,
So
the simple truths of service, inspired by Johnny the Bagger. Well,
Right.
it's become a movie. It's become a blockbuster. It's become a well-known phrase in the service cultures of organizations around the world. What's it all about? What's the Johnny the Bagger story all about?
It is such a wonderful story of hope, Willie, and I feel so blessed to have been the catalyst. Early in my career, I had been asked to speak to 3,000 employees of a large grocery store chain. And I love it when the whole company is there. They brought everybody, the meat packers and the baggers and the cashiers and the produce people, everybody. And so I had talked about what can you do? What could be your personal signature? What little thing could you do, whatever your job might be, to make the customer feel special? Just one little thing. And I gave them a lot of ideas and so forth. And do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah,
really?
I want you
Okay.
to. You can do it in
I'll do it in a
Reader's Digest version. But yes.
Okay, will do. So anyway, as long as I've been speaking, I give my home phone number to every audience in the world, and I've never had a bad experience. It's a trust issue. Anyway, I got a call about probably a month or two after I had spoken, and it was from a young man. He told me his name was Johnny, and he was a bagger in one of the stores, and he also told me he was a person of Down syndrome. And he said, Barbara, I liked what you said. And he said, I got an idea. And he told me he went home and he asked his dad, and he said he decided that to put a thought for the day in every person's groceries he bagged. So his dad helped him. They set up the computer, and he said every night when he went home, he would find a new thought. He said, if I don't find one I like, I think one up. And then he and his dad would print it 50 pages every night, six times on a page, and he would put them in every person's groceries. So about a month later, the store manager called me, and he said, Barbara, you won't believe what happened. He said, when I went out on the floor about 9:30 this morning, the line at Johnny's checkout was 3 times longer than any other line. And he said, I went ballistic. I was yelling, get more people out there, get more lanes open. And the customers said, no, we want to be in Johnny's lane. We want the thought for the day.
Wow.
And so he said, who do you think is the most important person in our store? And then it spread. People in other departments, he called me back 3 months later. If they had a broken off flower or an unused corsage, they used to just throw them away. And they'd go out and find an elderly woman or little girl, and they'd pin it on them. Said one of our meat packers loves Snoopy, so he ordered 50,000 Snoopy stickers, and every time he packaged a piece of meat, his meat would get a Snoopy sticker on it.
Wow.
Now, I said, I don't know about dog stickers on meat. But he said, we are having so much fun, and our customers are having so much fun. And there's several other little things about this story, but the most beautiful part is, Willie, that it sends a message to people, and millions of people have watched the 2 little movies. You can watch it on my website, just barbaraglanz.com/Johnny. But millions of people have watched that video, and what it says is you can make a difference. Anyone can make a difference.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what your job is, whether you're a student or a mom or someone in an organization. So it's brought hope to many, many, many people. I'm so grateful for that.
And hope is so desperately needed
Yes.
in business and life. And, we all need it every day, but we need it more now than ever. And so I think this is so profound what you have been able to do with the whole Johnny the Bagger. 5 million people have watched this movie. So I want to encourage everybody to go to barbaraglanz.com/Johnny. Watch it. Get some inspiration. Share it with your family and friends. Encourage people. Let me tell you what I found out about encouragement, folks. I found encouragement is like perfume. You can't help but get a little bit on yourself when you put it on somebody else. Amen.
And you know what, Willie? The root word of encourage is cur, the Latin word for heart. So encouragement comes from the heart.
comes from the heart. So wow, I love that, and that will encourage others to start to pass it on, pass on the good, pass on the kind, pass on the helpfulness, because it really does make a difference. And we get better, we get bigger, we get greater when we are thinking not just of ourselves but of others. And that is one of the things, if you've been listening over a while on this show, the people who are millionaires and billionaires are always talking about what they can do for others. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got more with my dear friend Barbara Glanz, and I'm telling you folks, she will bless your life as she has blessed mine and so many others. You're listening to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, and I want to let you know we'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store. Get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show with my dear friend, Speaker Hall of Fame inductee and member, Barbara Glanz. Been a teacher all of her life. She has been teaching people from her young days through her days in being a school teacher, English teacher in Lyons Township High School in LaGrange, Illinois, where she lived with her husband, Charlie, and they raised their children. And then she went on to become a teacher and trainer. At the age of 45, she started, after many years of being a homemaker and a mom, started a work schedule where she helped teach and train company folks on how to create more effectiveness and greater performance. And then at the age of 50, she started a business. She started her own business, and now she's gone on to best-selling books, Hall of Fame speaking on every continent. I haven't spoken on every continent. She's done all 50 states. I have not done all 50 states. So I'm telling you, Barbara, you have amazed me how you've been able to do this. She has just been incredible. Now, Barbara, you also wrote a book with our dear friend Ken Blanchard, and tell us a little bit about that book.
Well, that's The Simple Truths of Service, inspired by Johnny the Bagger.
Okay, that's that book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as you know, folks, Ken Blanchard is one of the greats. And interesting enough about Ken, Barbara, we both are faithful people, and we love the Lord.
Yes.
Ken Blanchard was not for a while.
No.
And he made a transition. He made a conversion in his life, and it changed everything.
Absolutely. And he has a wonderful little book called We Are the Beloved that tells the story of his faith journey. And I was blessed because he sent me a draft copy that he had just done for family and friends, and then it later became published. So it was a wonderful gift to the world.
Wow. Okay, so tell us, when you go to talk to these audiences, what are some of the things you share with them about changing their lives, and what do you share with them about maybe becoming more effective in their service cultures?
One of the major things I talk about, Willie, in all of my presentations is the concept of choice, because I don't think most people in our world today really get what I call in their gut, that they have choices. I think we've pretty much created a society of victims. Everybody seems to have someone to blame or an excuse. And so I want them, and I say to them, I want you to leave with this tattooed in your brain that you have choices. And one of my skills and gifts is to be able to take difficult concepts and create very simple visual models, because most people today are visual learners. And so probably the most profound thing, yet most simple, that I've done in my work is a very simple little 3-column chart. And it has at the top, it has a minus column, a 0 column, and a plus column. And down below, it says your choice in every interaction. And so when we discount someone, make them feel less important than us or our organization, they leave with a minus. If we just take care of the business at hand, it's really a 0. And I call these people slot fillers. They come in, they do just enough, and when the clock strikes, they're out the door. But we always have the choice of being able to create a plus for that other person. And that says, I see you. You are of value. You count for something. And so it's a relationship building in that plus. I call it a human level connection. And those people leave feeling better because they interacted with us. And there's a wonderful quote that says, every interaction we have with anyone leaves us and that other person on a higher or a lower plane. And it's our choice. I said, aren't there people in your life, whenever you're around them, they just sort of suck the energy right out of you? Right. And then aren't there people that just make you feel like Willie, like you can conquer the world? And which one do you want to be? You know, it's your choice. And that little simple chart, everybody gets it. And I tell this story of going into the restroom at O'Hare Airport, and there was a woman cleaning and all hunched over and just going through the motions. And I walked up to her, touched her on the arm, looked her right in the eyes, and said, thank you so much for keeping this restroom clean. You're really making a difference for all of us who travel. And she perked up and she stood up tall and she started cleaning with a passion. And by the time I left that restroom, Willie, she was handing towels out to all the women who were washing their hands.
Wow. What a word of encouragement can do.
Yeah, and I left with tears in my eyes because it cost me nothing. But every one of us can do that in every interaction, just simple little ways.
Wow. Folks, I hope y'all got the pearl from that. One is that it costs you nothing to be kind to people, to say good morning to people, to tell somebody they did a good job, to be a blessing to somebody else. Because you know what I've learned is that most people go to bed starving, not for food, but for a word of encouragement, for appreciation. They're living lives of quiet desperation. They look good on the outside, or they look normal on the outside, but on the inside, they're falling apart. And they need just a word of encouragement, a word of appreciation. And let me tell you what I've learned, that as you give, so shall it be given unto you. As you put it out, it comes back to you. Because one day we all going to have a day when it's tough. My mother, and then 25 days later, my brother and my father-in-law on the same day. My brother and my father-in-law on the same day. And it was tough, but people encouraged me. They inspired me. They uplifted me because it was a tough day and it was a tough week. I had to eulogize 3 people who were the closest, almost the closest 3, my mom and my brother. And then my father-in-law, when I got married, became a surrogate father. I had to eulogize all of them. So I encourage you folks to do that. Well, Barbara, you have been doing this now for many years. You have been all over the world, and you've taught so many people. One of the things I always like to ask people to do is, if you were going into a college business class of young, excited business students, and you said, here are the you got us. Here are the you got us. You got to do this. to become a successful business person? Give me some of the things that come to your mind.
Well, number one is you got to appreciate and value other people. And one of my books is The Simple Truths of Appreciation. I speak on that a lot. I always have people write down appreciation is a free gift. Compensation is a right, but appreciation is a free gift. Number two, I would say network. Build relationships. I get many jobs just sitting next to someone on an airplane.
Right.
Because I'm passionate about what I do. I have a mission in what I do. I know it's making a difference. And then the third thing is learn. Grow. Be curious. Find out as much as you can about everything that relates to your work, or simply just to being a better person.
Yes. We often talk about the power of lifelong learning and never-ending development.
So appreciate, network, and learn.
Folks, I'm telling you, those are critical points to your success. And I can say I have learned from Barbara and other great thinkers and speakers how important those three are. You got to appreciate others and appreciate their gifts and skills. And you know, there's an old saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I like that.
So I want to be around people who are big thinkers, who are expanding my thinking, expanding my vision for myself and for my future. And then network. I love networking. And you know, here's the thing though. My wife is an introvert. Okay. I'm an extrovert. I love networking because I just like people. But it's harder. I know it's harder for her. And so she has made a way though that she will do what Barbara said earlier. Focus on the minute on that person.
Yes.
Nothing else. When she's networking and she meets somebody, she focuses right in on that person, and they talk. They talk about and she asks them questions. One thing about network: what do you do? What is your background? What is your family like? You know, some things like that. That you focus on them and their story, and then learn.
Absolutely. And you know what? We like to talk about ourselves. We all have a story.
That's right.
And, you know, even just learning someone's name and remembering that when you see them the next time, that in itself says you were important enough to them that they remembered. And, you know, one of the gifts I think that we bring to other people is when we acknowledge them as a human being. You know, when I stay in a hotel, I always get to know someone at the front desk and a couple of the bellmen and someone at the restaurant. And when I leave, Willie, I often have this little group of people that walk me out to the taxi. You know, and it's not because I'm so special, but it's because I learned something about them.
Well, you're not so special. You made them special. That's really what it is. It's not that you're so special. You made them feel special.
Yes.
And when you make other people feel special, no matter what their station in life is, that they are important, that they are valued, and that you appreciate them. Oh, it's so powerful in building your business and building your success, building your future, building your legacy. Because one thing I know for sure, all of us going to leave here one day. That's what I know for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
and when you leave here, I speak at a lot of funerals. You know, you can kind of tell the impact people had on somebody else's life on the funeral and the weather. I say the weather, whether it's raining or snowing or sunny, but if you are impactful, it doesn't care what the weather is. They are there whether they were sunny or rainy because of what you did in their lives, and they want to celebrate your life. And so I'm just, you know, this is such good stuff. Now, Barbara, you have been able to build this business, and one of the things I want to really dig in, and we're going to do it in the next segment, is we're going to talk about for women. Because there are some women who have talked about having a business, who've thought about having a business, who've dreamed about having their own business, but they talked themselves out of it. They said, I'm not worthy. I don't have what it takes. I don't have enough education, or I don't have enough experience. And they talk themselves out. And what I want to do is start to talk them into having a business, talk them into living their dream, talk them into being the great person they were born to be. That God don't care about whether you are male or female. He made us all to be achievers, and he wants us to do great things with our lives, so that when our time comes to die, even the undertaker will be sad to see us go. We're going to be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show with my special guest, my dear friend Barbara Glanz, Speaker Hall of Fame inductee. And we'll be right back. And for sure, your best is yet to come. Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs, because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it, because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there, and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And my special guest is my dear friend who now lives in Florida. And she is active in so many things in the state of Florida and so many advisory councils and so forth. But she's a Hall of Famer. She is in the Speakers Hall of Fame. She's a best-selling author. She's a well-regarded, well-renowned, world-traveling speaker, educator, teacher, encourager, the one and only Barbara Glanz. Barbara, you have inspired me and for many years. And I was always impressed how you, after being a homemaker, raising your children, and then started a business. And you were not, you're not doing this when you're young. You did this when you were 50 years old.
You make it sound so old, Willie.
No, well, no,
now it's young.
Now it's really young. I look back now, 50, that's young. I was a kid. I had pimples.
That's for sure. Oh, my God.
I had pimples at 50, but at 50, many people are preparing for, they're saying that they're on their route downward. Now, we, of course, come from another mindset. We know we're pushing up and continuing up that mountain, 50, 60, 70, whatever. I'm going to keep going. I plan to die young at an old age. Oh, look, you got to hear that. Die young at an old age. I'm going to be dying young at an old age. My mentor, Dave Yoho, is 90. He'll be 93 soon.
Yeah.
Works every day, 8 hours a day, works out every morning at 5 a.m., then goes in the office, works 8 hours, we're on the phone all day, cutting deals, making things happen, goes home, has a lean, mean dinner, and watches a little television, goes to bed. I mean, this is his routine, and he's like a 30-year-old, 40-year-old. So,
yes, he is.
But many people, they see 40, 50, they say, well, I'm slowing down now. And so I want to say that that's a mindset that we don't have. But how do you get people past that? And what do you say to women specifically, but also say to some men who have written themselves off and saying, it's too late for me to start a business, too late for me to live my dreams? Talk to them about that.
Well, first of all, one of my new products is a little perpetual calendar that I just love that has all my positive thoughts for a single one for every day. The thought for yesterday made me think of you, is from Adlai Stevenson. He said, it's not the years in your life, but the life in your years that counts.
Wow. Where can they get that perpetual calendar?
Just on my website under products, barbaraglanz.com/products.
Are any other products there that you think might be helpful for folks right now?
Well, any of the books, care packages for the workplace, dozens of little things you can do to regenerate spirit at work. There's one on balance. There is one on leading with care, and I use the acronym CARE as the elements of a spirited workplace. So the C is creative communication. The A is atmosphere and appreciation for all. The R is respect and reason for being, sense of purpose, and the E, empathy and enthusiasm. And so all the things we covered today, Willie.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's some good things. And, most of them are idea books, so they're things that people can do almost immediately, and most cost no money.
Yes.
So they're perfect for this time. But back to women and starting a business. First of all, one of the good things I did was, as I was home with the kids, going back, and like I said, I took one class a quarter for 5 years.
Wow.
And so doing that kept me growing and learning in my field. And I didn't plan to major in adult learning. It just kind of happened after what happened was I was asked to come in and teach English as a second language. And of course I'd been a high school and college English teacher.
Right.
But I didn't know ESL. And so I thought, they said, well, you know more than they do, which was a terrible attitude. But anyway, I said, well, I will do it, but I need to go back and take some classes. And so I started in taking classes to help do that, and all of a sudden I had enough hours that I was getting close to finishing my master's, and it ended up to be the best decision I could ever have made, because adult learning applies to everything.
That's right. That's right.
And so that was a wonderful way to keep my brain active and keep active in my field. And then doing just a few little part-time things, so that not only did my kids seeing me do something professionally, but I was inspired and encouraged and so forth, and again kept my sort of finger in. And I stayed a member of a couple of professional organizations through those years, and 19 years that I stayed home, Willie.
Mm.
And but then when I was ready to go back, I mean, I truly just hit the ground running, because I had been involved a little bit in so many different ways that it wasn't like it was a total change for me. So I would say to women, believe in yourself and find people in your life that will be supportive of that will be encouraging to you. And then be wise. I was lucky that my husband was a businessman. He worked for 30 years for the Chicago Tribune. And so he advised me. And it was interesting when I started my company, and other women will smile at this. A friend of ours chose to be our bookkeeper. And much later, he said to Charlie, I didn't think she would even last a year.
Wow.
And that was a year that I made a lot of money. And so the other thing I would say, too, is, discover your passion. Because to go back and just do a job, you probably won't be very successful unless you decide to make it your passion. And that can happen, too. But if you can start with something that you're passionate about, and think about what do people need in this world, and then believe in yourself. Another thing I would say when I talk about creative communication, do something different. Stand out a little bit when you apply for a job or when you decide to start a company. It was interesting. My daughter has been around me a lot of years, and when she finished college and applied for her first job, she did her nice formal resume, but then she took it and she wrapped in it a Nestle's $100,000 bar, and she put a little post-it that said, "If you hire me, this is what I'll be worth to your company."
Wow.
And my husband said, "That's really unprofessional." And I laughed. Did she get the job? Absolutely. And what she said to me, Willie, was, you know what? If they don't like it, I wouldn't want to work there anyway.
Wow.
So what can you do to stand out, to be just a little bit different? When I first started speaking, and they won't let me do it anymore because of rules about the ballroom walls and stuff, but I had about 50 posters that my daughter made. I have some of them in my office. Actually, there's a picture on my website of them. Like right now, one says, it has a beautiful little house. It says, "A smile is a window that shows your heart is at home."
Wow.
Another one says, "The heart is an awfully big place. It can hold a lot of people." And it's a heart with little people in it. And then another one says, "Allow who you are on the inside to be who you are on the outside." And I would post those posters all the way laminated, all the way around the room, so that when people walked into whatever room it was, there was all this bright color and inspiration, and they're all hand done, so they're not perfect.
Wow.
And it just set a tone. So that separated me from a lot of other speakers when I first was speaking the first 8 or 10 years. So
and it obviously worked, because you went like a rocket from nowhere to somewhere in Hall of Fame. And speaking of Society of Human Resource Managers, I remember when I spoke there one year and people were just raving about your message and your programs.
Oh, thank you.
So I know that we only got about a minute left. So one of the things you do is you focus on family, you focus on faith. You're on a lot of boards. You're on a lot of nonprofits. You are working with the Norman Vincent Peale's organization.
Guideposts.
Yeah, and you work with Ken Blanchard's organization.
Lead Like Jesus.
Lead Like Jesus. And then I loved how you told me when I saw you at convention one year, you said, I just got back from a cruise where I took the whole family on a cruise. Just wanted some time with them, and I took them all on a cruise. And you got a big family.
Well, not all that big. 3 children.
And grandchildren.
And 4 grandchildren.
That's right. That's big, okay?
They're the best,
And she took them all on a cruise. Well, Barbara, any closing thoughts in this last minute?
I just want to say to people, please look at the positive things. I had a person who was very negative that I had dinner with not long ago, and I said, when you go home, get a piece of paper and on one side write down all the blessings you have that money can't buy, and on the other side write down all the people you love. And she called me the next day and she said, "Oh my gosh, that really made a difference."
Wow. Wow, folks, that's why she's Barbara Glanz. She is Barbara Glanz. Go to Barbara, B-A-R-A, Glanz, GLANZ.com. Go to the page with Johnny the Bagger, just BarbaraGlanz.com/Johnny. Go get her perpetual calendar, go get her books, go get her resources, go to her product page, buy everything. Stay connected to her. And then I want to encourage you to go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I'm going to send you a free 1-minute message just to inspire you through these tough times. Look, go to winwithwillie.com. Follow me on all my social media, The Real Willie Jolley. Oh, by the way, the marriage show on Monday nights is now not only on Facebook Live, but also on Instagram Live. And then Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, the Willie Jolley Good News Report. Thank y'all for your time. Thank you for being here, for making this part of your weekly routine, and for sharing it with other people in your network. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. God bless you.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion?
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.